Hello, Melton Guy here. I want to talk some serious business to begin with. I know I always start off with asking you to give me hit the like button to uh, check out my wife's book, Living Small Town, the Sioux Guy, and uh, The Offspring of Ignorance by J. Milton Guy, all on Amazon. I know I start off with that, but all right, let's get real here for a minute. I'm approaching a milestone. I never dreamed that this time last year I'd be approaching this milestone in my podcast. But here's what I want to tell you. Here's what I want you to understand, okay? Being real. I'm all the way up to 22 subscribers. I know. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I never would have thought at this time that I'd be looking at reaching that milestone number of 25. And that's where you come in. I want you to be the 25th subscriber. I know it's a milestone and almost unapproachable, and it's just crazy. But 25 subscribers. I mean, really. I know that Tennessee Brando has hundreds of thousands, and Adam Monkler has that many or more. But we're talking about my podcast now. That magic number of 25. I'm asking you, do you want to be the 25th subscriber? I'm just asking you. Actually, I'm beseeching you to reach out, hit the like button, and the subscribe button. And who knows, tomorrow you may wake up and discover that you are my 25th subscriber. I never would have dreamed I would be approaching that magic number of 25. But anyway, I want to let you in on it. I wanted you to know how important you are, and that you can be a part of helping me reach that magic number of 25. I have 22. Just three of you can put me, well, not in the money or over the goal, but 25. I mean, you have to admit that is something of a miracle. All righty, had enough little fun there. But I'm serious. I do want you to subscribe. I always want you to subscribe. I want you to give me a thumbs up. I always want you to like what I say. And if you don't, you can say that too, you know. But anyway, be a part of it. Help me out here a little bit. But I want to get down to a more serious note and talk about what I've been talking about it for so many months now. You know, it would, if it were not so serious, it would be comical, laughable. You know, how did we get to where we are now? With the kind of disarray that we see in the Republican Party and the misinformation that is being passed along by that same party. And I hate to say Republican Party because it's not the Republicans that I knew, not by any means. But a lot of people talk about Project 2025, Trump's plan that he knows absolutely nothing about. But I'm more interested in letting you know and talking about Trump's Project 2024. Trump, I believe, honestly, to this day, to this podcast, I believe that Trump had everything planned in one way or another from the time he came down the escalator, as they say, to January the 6th of 2021. Now, I say that because in 2016, when he was running against Hillary Clinton, he made the comment on more than one occasion that if she won, he would not accept the results. So what I'm suggesting, no, what I'm submitting is this. Had she won by one vote or 1 million, what we saw in January of 2021, we would have seen in January of 2017. He's got a way out, supposedly, in his mind. In other words, if I lose, I really didn't lose. I've got a plan. And that plan was to disrupt the whole United States government and politics in 2021 on January the 6th. And I believe that there is still a plan. That's why I am wary of this man and his many fans, the MAGA cult, that are willing to do anything and say anything for him. I ask myself so many times, how did we go from integrity and honesty and decency as manifest in John McCain and Mitt Romney to the purest of corruption as manifest in Donald Trump and MAGA? How in the world did it make that jump? And that plan that I stated above has been extended to, as I said, January of 2025 and beyond. Now, if you do not buy this, or if you do not even want to consider this, then I ask, where in the world have you been? What news sources have you been leaning on? What news sources have you been believing and watching? Because you can't watch all the news sources and not recognize at least some of it. If you're paying attention, all of it. Now, if all you do is watch Fox, if all you do is watch Fox News, then you are not getting the truth. I'm not the only one saying that. There are people on Fox that are saying that. They keep making mistakes. They keep having to turn Donald Trump off because of his elaborate wanderings and meanderings to nowhere. But all the other news sources out there should be listened to, should be considered, because like I say, you're not getting it from Fox News. I always say watch Fox News, but you need to watch everything else. You need to get an understanding of what is taking place not only in politics, but in Fox News and where their loyalties lie. It is not with you. Now, there's a warning here to all of us, but especially to the Harris campaign, and that is to expect grifts, expect doubling down on past stunts, expect doubling and tripling down on every lie Donald Trump and MAGA has told. And then some new stuff. In these last days of the campaign, a dire warning goes out to all of us and to the Harris campaign. There is nothing beneath MAGA and their God, Donald Trump. How in the world is there a party that once was a party of integrity and honesty, forthrightness, having spokespersons out there like Lauren Boebert, who openly goes against our veterans, and sometimes even veterans that have died in action? She openly mocks, and yet she is one of the spokespersons for the MAGA Republican Party. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, my God, this woman just got through saying that Democrats, she'd already said, that we're vampires and all of that, or suggested it, but she's already said how terrible Democrats are. But now she's saying, that we're so powerful that we can control the weather. And then says, don't you believe the lies? They can actually control the weather. She's trying to convince you that Democrats can control the weather. That should be an affront to every person who calls himself a Christian or Islamic or Jewish. Because in all of those, and even if you're not in those, you believe, for the most part, that God controls the weather. Atmospheric conditions control the weather, in turn controlled by God. But Marjorie Taylor Greene says that Democrats can control the weather. And I saw Roseanne Barr, another spokesperson for the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump. Roseanne Barr, or whatever she calls herself these days, refer to Democrats as vampires. Really? Is that what your party has become? It struck me funny. And if you're honest with yourself, Roseanne and the rest of us just think of the hows and whys and ways Donald Trump and his MAGA pets have sucked the lifeblood from America and the world and each and every one of us. Who's the vampire? But once a great party of decent, America-oriented, patriotic Americans has been drained by Trump and his sycophants and transfused by a collective corruption which will take years or decades to dilute the impurities. If you have not seen and recognized this by this date, by this time, by this campaign, then you're not going to see it. And I'll leave you with this. If one's baby cries in the night, one can pretend to not hear that baby and do nothing. Or one can hear that baby and choose not to believe what one is hearing and do nothing. Or one can hear that baby and simply ignore the cries, don't care, and do nothing. Or one can hear the cries, acknowledge responsibility, and then do what one is supposed to do. It's time to wake up and hear the cries and do what you're supposed to do. God bless you all. I love you all, and I'll see you next time.